Yo, what the fuck's up? I'm gonna try to do a disassembly on this shotgun, this Mossberg 930 for you. Here it is. I'll have you know that I did just order a part from Nordic. I'm getting a clamp for the extended tube in the barrel. It's gonna go right here. It's gonna look nice. Really doesn't need it, but I think it looks funny without it. You know what I mean? Plus, it'll help keep the tube straight and keep it parallel with the barrel. All right, fuck all that. I'm talking now. I want to give this a shot. This is my first time doing this. This is the Mossberg 930 SPX, and we're going to do a disassembly on it. The first thing you want to do with this, it's not too bad. It's something. It's kind of like a 1911 a little bit, the way the mainspring housing works, and but it's not too bad. You got to be patient. It might take you a couple times, but it's easier than a pump. I'll tell you that right now. To me, it is. So the first thing you want to do is make sure the gun's unloaded. So we'll pull the charging handle back. Okay, and then put it on safety. Okay, that's the first thing you want to do. Now, I hope this video helps you. I do not have a cameraman. There might be parts where the camera should be close with some of this shit, but I don't have a cameraman. Let me turn the phone off because I know it's going to ring. So I'm just going to unplug it. Now it's not going to ring. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is, if you can't get this off, you want to use a pair of channel locks with, where the fuck is it? With a piece of leather. It works better than rubber. I don't know what happened to it. I think I got mad and threw it. Wrap a piece of leather around there, put the channel locks on there, and break the bind. You don't want to mar up your nut like I did. I used rubber and it still went through the rubber and just marred it a little, but it don't matter because we're replacing that anyway. That should be here tomorrow, the new extended tube, one that's straight. So the first thing you want to do is unscrew your extended tube. Now let's pretend we broke the bind. Now it's loose. Now we're going to turn it. Now watch out. Hold on to this because there's a loading tube spring inside, and it's under a lot of pressure. Okay, so just kind of do this. Because it will shoot. See, it wants to take off on me. Take it out. Oh, that's not good. There's your loading tube spring. See? And it is symmetrical, so it doesn't matter which way you put it back in. So lay that up there. Here's your extended magazine tube. I'll try to remember all the parts, the right terminology for you guys. Okay, the next thing is going to come off is your fore-end grip, which is this right here. So I'm just going to try to hold the barrel in because the barrel is loose now. So hold the barrel in and just push up the fore grip. You don't want everything coming off at once because you won't know how to put it back together. This, you know where that is, so you just put that up there. Now this part. Okay. Here's the names of the parts. This is your barrel. And this is the barrel comes around, wraps around the loading tube. Inside this part that wraps around the loading tube is your gas piston, which that's going to come out too. This barrel is ready to slide right out of here. But you have the barrel, the gas piston, the spacer tube, the hell's this thing called again? It's called the pusher assembly, and then you got the return spring, and then you have the forearm retainer, which is right here. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. Okay, now I'm going to take the barrel out. I'm going to take the barrel off. It's coming off. Now everything's going to move with it, so you kind of just want to hold back on the loading tube like that, and just take the barrel off slowly. Slow. Okay, you got to pretend this gun's dirty. It's dirty, right? It's all dirty. Take your gas piston out because the gas piston gets very dirty. There's your gas piston. and it acts like a piston. It actually has a piston ring on there. Clean that all up. You know, I use Ballistol, and or use whatever gun cleaner, but I like Ballistol. And then you're down here on the lower. You got your spacer tube, which is right here. Now you want to put, if you're doing this for the first time, the way you take everything off is the way you want to lay it on the table, how it goes back down. So you want to put your spacer tube there, if you did it for the first time. Alright, then you want to put your pusher assembly, take that off. Here's your pusher assembly, and put it in front of the spacer tube, till you know what you're doing. Okay, this way you can see how everything goes. Okay, now you have your return spring, that slides right off. And it's symmetrical. There's no open or closed end on each side, so it doesn't matter what side you stick it on. That goes in front of this. Okay? Then you have your forearm retainer. You hold your foregrips. This is what holds your foregrip secure. It's like a spacer is what it is. Take that off. You put it in front of the, just like it was on there. Boom, 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 boom. This you don't have to worry, you know, in case you lose something, or I don't know. Just be extra cautious. Okay, now it gets a little complex here. It's not too bad. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to push the bolt release, but I'm not going to let it slam into the slam home. I'm going to hold back. I'm going to push the bolt release, let it come forward easy, just like that. And now this is your charging handle. Your charging handle will pull right out. You got to pull hard if it's new. It's your charging handle. That's what I call it. And you just yank it out. It's press fitted in there. Someone told me there was a retaining ring behind it, but that guy is a dork. He gave me false information, which I transferred to you guys. So it's not. It's press fitted in there. You push it in and a little ball pops in and holds it in. So it's not held with a retaining ring. Thanks for making me look like a jerk off. Okay. Just keep your two fingers, get it on there, and just yank it out. Now watch when you pull it out, how it comes out. It comes out of this slot, and it has a notch. See that notch? And make sure it goes in the same direction. And just put that up there. Now to get the rest of the bolt assembly out, we're going to take the bolt and the slide, it's called, a bolt and a slide. You push in the bolt release, and with your thumb in here, push like that. Okay. I pushed too hard. You push the bolt release in. Let's push it back in. You push the bolt release in, and then you push like that, and then your bolt and your slide will come out. Okay, this is your link. Okay, this is your bolt. This is your slide. Keep them together so you don't forget how they go together, and put them over here like that. Now, shit, forgot to get my punches out. We got to take the trigger assembly out. That should be pretty simple. Let's see. Let's use brass with of course, a mallet. Okay, and we're just going to take these two pins out. There's one here. There's one here. There's two. Now the other Mossberg I had, the pump only had one pin, but whatever. Okay, and just. Let's get some elevation here. Use my knife. Little elevation. They come right out. They're not in there real hard. And they go in any which way. Okay? They don't have to go in the same direction. They are pretty much symmetrical. Okay? So I'll put the pins there. And the trigger assembly should come right out. Okay, that's it. There's a full disassembly on the Mossberg 9:30. I looked on YouTube. There ain't too many videos for this. I think there's... Suck my ass. I think I've seen one. And it's a blurry ass video. I don't understand these guys, man. They have thousands of dollars for guns, but no one wants to put a couple $100 out for it. Who wants to watch a blurry video? You know what I'm saying? Alright, let's get an overall look at all the parts. Okay, use my new smooth tripod here. And there's a lot of parts, but it's not hard to do. Got your trigger guard, trigger assembly. Got your bolt and the slide. And then this tail here is called a link. Okay. Got your 2 pins that hold your trigger assembly in. You have your charging handle. You have your forearm retainer ring. Okay. Here's your return spring. Okay. This is your pusher assembly right here. Spacer tube. It's good to know all the parts. Gas piston, of course, barrel, extended magazine tube, magazine spring, foregrip. That's as far as you want to go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean and lubricate the hell out of this thing. It's a little dry. The bolt is a little dry. So I'm going to use a little ballast oil, and on the tracks I'm going to use lubrication, grease. And when I get done with this and put it back together, it should feel like, you know, a slippery nipple. Okay? Alright, right back. Okay, it's pretty wet. Nice and lubricated. It feels like a wet chicken. So after your gun parts feel like a wet chicken, it's time to reassemble. I'm going to try to reassemble without looking like a dork here. It's not, you know, this, you know, the problem is there's a couple parts where you have to hold the gun up and down and up and down. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it in frame. I'm going to try. I'm going to try. It's a bitch. And maybe if I zoom back more, but then you're going to be able to see the little detail things. Alright, let me go up. I'm going to have to get back a little. Okay. Alright. Anyone see Son of Guns? That was pretty cool. A Gatlin 12 gauge shotgun. What the fuck is up? Come on, man. How cool is that? You ain't going to see that on Top Shot. You sure the hell ain't going to see that on Shooting USA. You know? It was pretty cool. Pretty cool episode. But the thing I was wondering about, why didn't they use the drums, the magazine drums? Why did they use the flat magazine, you know, regular magazines? You know, I was wondering if they used the drums, it would hold more ammunition, and maybe the barrel couldn't take all that heat. That's what me and some other guy were talking about. Anyway, I hope you can see what I'm doing. The first thing I'm going to do is put the trigger assembly in. I know you can't really see what the hell I'm doing, but it really goes in easy. What's cool about this trigger assembly, it's all steel. It ain't polymer. You want to put the rear, you want to slide it in like level, but like on a 45-degree angle on the rear, and it goes right on in. Look at that. It's in. That's how easy it goes in. Now just put your pins back in. And get your mallet. Man, I am a dork today. Here it is. Let's make sure the holes are perfectly lined up, because there can't be any resistance. My eyes are getting, that looks pretty good. Okay, let's start this one. Okay, good. Put this one in next. Okay, it's good. Easy. You don't have to slam it in there. Just tap. It's in, secure, it's good to go. Everything's good. Okay? Alright, now, next thing you want to put in, this is the tricky part. I ballast oil and greased this slide and bolt. Now when you put this is the tricky part. When you put this slide and bolt in, if you see this thing, it looks like a rat's tail. See it? This goes down The rat's tail goes down into here, and back here there's a cup. It looks like a cup, and the tail goes into the cup. Let me get something. The tail goes into the cup like this, and then the cup's on a spring. But the cup's much smaller than this. So you got to get it in that cup. And sometimes it goes right in, and sometimes it's a pain in the ass. But the easiest way to do it is, this is what I mean. Just hold the gun up like this, and then drop this in. Line your tracks up. You'll see what to do. Everything's pretty much right in front of you. Now, see the camera's not where I need it to be, but I'm lining the bolts in there, and it stops. Now, for me to get it to go rest of the way, I got to hit the slide release in. It'll go to rest of the way, but at the same time, you have to lift up that the link, the rat tail, I call it, and then at the same time push back with your fingers. So I got to do this like up here. I know you can't see what the hell I'm doing, but as it goes in, I'll show you. Okay. I just gotta hope it goes in. And if it don't, I'll have to turn the camera off and fuss with it. It missed the cup. So of course on the camera it misses the cup, but when I'm doing it off camera, it goes right in. You gotta love it, man. That's law. That's Murphy's law, right? So I'm going to mess with that. I got to get it in the cup. And the only reason I have to do that, I got to get a flashlight looking there and make sure guide it right into that friggin' cup. I'll be right back. Okay, I got it in. It's in that little cup like I told you about. Alright? Now how I can tell is because when I push, now I got spring tension. So that tells me it's seated in that cup there. Okay? Now, next thing I'm going to do is put my charging handle in, which is this. When you put this in there, if you can see what I'm doing, the notch faces the buttstock. There's a little slit in here. Okay? So you're going to hold it like this, flip it this way, put it in the slit, and then just push. Now I can lock it back. Sup? Okay. I hope that helped you. I mean, that's terrible. You can't see what the hell I'm doing. Okay. Now the next thing you're going to put on is the forearm retainer, which is this piece. And this piece, the lip, faces the stock. I'm spinning it this way. Okay. Okay, now the next thing that's going to go on is the return spring. Remember I told you it's symmetrical any way you want. Stick it on there. The next thing that's going to come on is your pusher assembly. Man, I can't remember what that's called. Now the pusher assembly, when it goes up here, there's two little notches where it rides in. I don't know if you can see that. See how it goes like that? But when I come back and I turn it, it won't go in. It has to go in them little notches. But when you let go, it'll be ahead of them. So as you're sliding the barrel on and everything, you got to line everything up. And if that don't line up, your barrel won't go on. So it's just, it's not hard. It really isn't. When I first did it, I wanted to stab myself in the eye with a hot poker. I was so fucking mad. But then I said, you know what, this is no different. This is way easier than a 1911, and it's way easier than a pump shotgun. Okay, the next thing that goes on is your spacer tube. Doesn't matter which way it goes on, it's the same. Woo, doggy. Okay, now, the next thing you want to do is get your barrel and put your gas piston in. It's just a circle. There's no notches. There's no certain way it goes in. Just the little piston rings go inside here in this direction. And it just goes right in. And just push it till it just seals. It doesn't even seal, just like that. It just sits in there. Okay? Now it's time to put this on. Now I'm going to put the whole barrel on. Okay? So, which is simple, but at the same time you have to line everything up. So if I'm going to put it towards the camera, and this has to be like this, and everything has to be, you know, lined up. So you just take your time. I know my arm is in the way, I know. Take your time. It'll go in. That's it. It's all in. Everything's lined up. That's in the right position. The barrel is, you'll see inside the receiver, the barrel goes all the way in, and you shouldn't be able to see the end of it. It goes past the bolt inside. I know that's in right. Okay, now the next thing I want to do is put my fore end on. It's here. Like that. That just slides right on. Okay. Now this is a pain in the ass. Ugh. This is the only part that really gets on my nerves. When you put the, you got two pieces left. You have the extended magazine spring. You got to put this thing in there. Put it all in there. And at the same time, what you have to do is kind of feed it in there and squish it in there as much as you can. Okay? Like that. And now hold it there. Then you get your spring, your tube, and bring it all the way up to the spring. Hold your hand here. Keep your hand there. Bring the spring down to it. Because if you don't, it'll shoot out all over the place like a friggin' slinky mother humper. Okay, now I'm just going to screw that bad boy on there. Okay? You really don't need to wrench that down. If I know this is loose, I'll get a piece of leather and channel locks and just give it a quarter of a turn, and it tightens the whole foregrip up. But I don't have homo hands today, so I'm good. So that's it. Now let's give it a function check. Let's take off the safety. Red, you're dead. Okay, and I don't like to slam the. I wish I had a snap cap, but I don't. But I'm going to do it this once to make sure my mag release works, my bolt release works, which it does. Now I'm going to hold the bolt release in and keep it in and cock it and make sure my firing pin and all that shit's working, and it is. Now I want to pull it back to make sure the charging handle does lock back. I want to make sure my bolt release is working properly, and it is. Everything's working good. Now the next thing I would like to do is load it up with ammunition and then eject a couple rounds out to make sure it feeds properly, and you know, which I will. It's good. You're better off doing this with snap caps, not live ammunition. But all I have right now is I'll just put like 4 in. You know what I mean? That's why you gotta have snap caps if you like to work on guns. It's just safer. But I'll do this because I want you guys to see that everything's okay. Okay. Just load it. Eject. Load it. Eject. Okay, it fed well and it ejected well. I mean, that's not a good test. You got to go out to the range, you know, to give it a reliability test. But I know now the basic fundamentals and the basic functions of this friggin' rifle is good to go. I hope this helped you. See you later.